When was a time you put someone in their place? I'm usually the type of dad who keeps his head down. My son Nathan started playing in this local league when he turned 8, and most of the games were pretty chill. Kids would mess up, parents would clap anyway, everyone would grab juice boxes after. But then, there was Rick. This guy treated every single game like it was the World Cup final. He'd pace the sidelines yelling things like, "What are you doing out there?" at his own kid. He'd argue with teenage refs about calls in an 8-year-old league. The worst part was watching all the kids tense up whenever he started shouting. For weeks, I just stayed quiet. My wife would nudge me and be like, "Someone needs to say something," but honestly, I hate confrontation. I figured maybe he'd calm down or other parents would handle it. Nathan would come home asking why that man was always so angry, and I'd just tell him to focus on having fun. Things got worse as the season went on. Rick would critique other kids during games, telling them they were in the wrong position or moving too slow. He once made a comment about the goalie being useless, loud enough for the kid to hear. The poor kid was maybe 9 years old and started crying right there on the field. The breaking point happened during our second to last game. It was tied 2-2 with 5 minutes left, and Nathan was dribbling toward the goal when Rick's son Jake came sliding in. Both kids went down, which happens literally every game at this age. Nathan popped up laughing, helped Jake to his feet, and they kept playing. But Rick lost his mind. He jumped up screaming, "That was a dirty play, your kid's trying to hurt my boy." The entire field went silent. Kids stopped running and just stared. Nathan looked absolutely terrified, still holding the ball like he'd done something horrible. That's when something snapped in me. I walked across the field, not running or anything dramatic, just walking with purpose. Every parent, kid, and ref was watching me. "Rick, that's enough," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "These are 8-year-olds. They're here to have fun, not get screamed at by a grown man who's lost his mind." His face went bright red and he stepped closer to me. "Don't tell me how to parent. Your son was reckless and someone could have gotten hurt." I didn't back down. I looked at all the kids who were still frozen, watching this whole thing play out like they were witnessing their parents fight. "Nathan, go sit with Mom for a minute," I said calmly. Then I turned back to Rick. "You're not teaching your son to be competitive. You're teaching him to be afraid. You're teaching all these kids to hate this game. Look around. They're scared of you." Rick opened his mouth to argue, but I kept going. "Your kid just wants to play soccer and have his dad cheer for him. Instead, you're out here acting like college scouts are watching, and these kids' futures depend on winning some random Saturday game." Other parents started stepping forward. "We've all had enough," said Jessica, whose daughter played midfielder. "If you can't control yourself, you need to leave." The teenage ref looked so relieved someone finally said something. Even Rick's own son looked embarrassed, tugging on his dad's shirt, whispering, "Dad, please stop." The silence was heavy. You could hear traffic from the street and birds chirping, but nobody on that field said a word. Rick's face kept getting redder, and you could see him trying to think of something to say back. Finally, he grabbed his folding chair and water bottle. "This is ridiculous. You're all too soft. These kids will never amount to anything if they don't learn to compete." He stormed off to his car while his son Jake just stood there looking lost. Rick's wife quickly gathered their stuff and followed, mouthing sorry to the other parents. The ref restarted the game and the kids went back to playing, but they were different, looser, more relaxed. Nathan scored a goal 3 minutes later, and when he looked over at me, I just gave him a thumbs up instead of going crazy like Rick used to do. After the game, Jake's mom approached me. "Thank you for saying something. Rick's been like this for months, and it's been affecting Jake at home too. He's been having nightmares about disappointing his dad." The next week was our last game of the season. I showed up expecting Rick to be back with some new attitude, but he wasn't there. Instead, Jake's mom brought him and sat quietly on the bleachers. Jake played better than I'd ever seen him play, smiling and high-fiving teammates. After the game, she came over to thank me again. Turns out my little speech had sparked a bigger conversation at their house.